Welcome to NFL Talk.
Yeah.
I'm Liam.
And I'm Olivia.
And we both love the NFL. And today we're diving deep into something that's really got everyone talking.
Yeah.
The Cleveland Browns.
The Cleveland Browns and their quarterback, Deshaun Watson.
Yes.
You know, they're 2-7.
Yeah.
Not what they were hoping for.
No, not at all.
A lot of questions swirling around their performance,
Right.
especially Watson's and, that mega contract he's got.
Yeah, it's a tough situation.
It really is.
It's really interesting to me. They came into the season with really high expectations.
Of course.
And to see them struggling like this, it raises a ton of questions.
So many questions.
And the thing is, General Manager Andrew Berry, he's acknowledged the team's struggles.
He has.
But he's been very quiet about the future.
Tight-lipped.
Especially when it comes to Watson. What do you make of that?
I think it's telling. You don't give a player a historic, fully guaranteed contract.
Right.
And then just walk away easily when things get tough. Remember, they traded for him amidst a ton of controversy.
Yeah.
And that gamble hasn't paid off yet.
And it's not just the off-field stuff that's the problem, right?
No, exactly.
Watson's performance on the field has been very inconsistent.
Inconsistent is a good word for it.
He's had some moments of brilliance.
Oh, yeah. Flashes.
Like that game against the Bengals.
Oh, yeah.
350 yards, 3 touchdowns.
Wow.
But then he just disappears.
Vanishes?
For stretches. Like the last 2 games, he hasn't even broken 200 passing yards.
And multiple interceptions.
Multiple interceptions. It's tough to watch.
Absolutely. And to make matters worse, his Achilles injury ended his season early.
Wow.
It really makes you wonder if we'll ever see that Deshaun Watson again.
Yeah, the Houston Watson?
Exactly. But, Barry's got a point. It's not all on Watson.
Of course.
The offense as a whole has only scored over 20 points once this whole season.
That's right.
That's just not going to cut it in today's NFL.
It's a team effort. We've got to remember that. There are other factors at play, but let's be honest.
Yeah.
When you give a quarterback that kind of money,
right,
you expect him to be the solution, not part of the problem.
That's the expectation.
And now the Browns are stuck.
They really are.
With a quarterback who's not delivering.
Right.
And a contract that you can't really move.
It's a tough spot.
It really is. And the financial fallout from all this is just mind-blowing.
It's wild.
For people who aren't super familiar with the NFL salary cap.
Yeah.
A dead cap hit.
Dead cap hit.
That's the money that still counts against the team's cap,
Oh.
even if the player's not on the roster.
Exactly.
So if the Browns were to release Watson,
oh boy,
they'd be looking at a potential dead cap hit of over $118 million in 2025.
You're kidding?
I'm not.
That's crippling.
It's insane.
It really hampers their ability to build a competitive team.
You're basically trying to build a championship car with a flat tire.
That's a perfect analogy.
It's financial quicksand.
It really is.
And that's why everyone keeps talking about a trade right at.
Of course, a trade.
Maybe a post-June 1 trade.
Right.
Could soften the blow financially,
Yeah.
but who's going to take on that contract?
That's the question.
Even if they include draft picks, it's a hard sell.
Very hard sell.
It reminds me of the Brock Osweiler trade.
Oh, yeah.
The Browns actually did pretty well with that one.
They did.
They got some valuable draft picks.
Including Nick Chubb.
Including the one that became Nick Chubb.
Wow. Could they pull that off again with Watson?
It's a long shot.
It is a long shot.
But in the NFL, you never say never.
Yeah, never say never.
So let's talk about the guys calling the shots here.
Okay.
Barry and head coach Kevin Stefanski.
Yeah.
What do you think they're thinking right now?
Oh, man. The pressure must be immense.
I can't even imagine.
They put their reputations on the line for Watson, and it hasn't worked out.
No.
They have 8 games left.
8 games.
That's it.
Yeah.
And those games are going to decide their future with the Browns.
It's a make or break situation.
Make or break. If they can't turn things around, we could see some big changes in the coaching staff and the front office.
Absolutely. And then there's the big question, what do they do with Watson?
Yeah.
Do they stick with him and hope he gets back to his old form?
Right.
Do they cut their losses and deal with that financial fallout?
That's the big question.
It's a huge decision.
It really is.
It could change the entire future of the franchise.
It could.
What do you think?
It's a crossroads for the Browns, no doubt about it.
Right.
They thought they were getting a franchise quarterback.
Yeah.
And it's turned into a nightmare.
It has.
It's hard to say what the best move is.
I agree.
They need to look at all their options,
Yeah.
weigh everything very carefully,
Right.
and make a decision that's best for the future of the team.
Yeah. It's a tough spot.
It is.
It's a tough spot. Yeah, they're really stuck between a rock and a hard place.
Yeah.
If you're Andrew Berry, what are your options here?
Well, I think there are really 3 main options. The first, and this is probably the toughest one,
Okay.
is sticking with Watson, trying to make it work.
Okay.
hoping he can get back to that form he had in Houston,
Right.
and you try to build the team around him.
Right.
It's a risky move for sure,
Yeah.
given how he's played lately in that contract, but it's not impossible.
Okay, so that's option one. Stick with Watson. What's number two?
Number 2 is the nuclear option.
Oh, boy.
You cut ties with Watson.
Right.
You take that massive dead cap hit, and you try to find a new quarterback.
Yeah.
You could look to the draft.
Right.
You could explore free agency.
Right.
But finding a franchise quarterback is like finding a needle in a haystack.
It really is.
It gives you more flexibility financially in the long run,
Right.
but it sets you back so much in the short term.
Absolutely.
It's like hitting the reset button.
Yeah, you're starting over.
Starting from scratch.
So option one is a gamble option. Yeah. 2 is a painful rebuild.
Pretty much.
What's the third option?
The third option is a trade.
Okay.
And this is where things get really complicated.
Yeah.
Finding a team that will take Watson in that contract
Right.
is going to be really, really tough.
Yeah.
It would take a team that's desperate for a quarterback
Right.
and a team that's willing to take on that huge financial burden.
Yeah.
The Browns might have to give up a lot to make it happen.
Yeah.
Maybe some high draft picks or even other important players.
Right.
It's a long shot.
It is.
But crazy things happen in the NFL.
It is.
So you never know.
You never know. So we've talked about trades.
Yeah.
What about other quarterback options?
Mm.
Are there any free agents out there that could be a fit for the Browns?
There are always some veteran quarterbacks in free agency,
right.
but finding one that can really make a difference is really rare.
Yeah.
It's usually just a temporary solution
Right, the Band-Aid.
until you find a long-term answer.
Right.
As for the draft,
Yeah.
there are some promising quarterbacks coming out,
Okay.
but drafting a quarterback is always a risk.
Big risk.
It takes time for them to develop,
Yeah.
and there's no guarantee they'll be successful.
No guarantee at all.
Yeah.
It seems like every option has its own set of challenges.
It does.
This is a real mess for the Browns.
It is.
But we can't forget about the human element here.
Right.
This whole thing started with those serious allegations against Watson.
Yeah.
It divided the fans.
It did.
And it put the Browns organization in a really tough spot.
It really did. How do you think they've handled that side of things?
It's been a difficult situation to navigate, for sure.
Yeah.
They've tried to walk this fine line
Yeah.
between supporting their player
Right.
and acknowledging how serious those allegations are.
Right.
It's been a PR nightmare.
Absolutely.
And it's definitely had an impact on the team and the fans.
It has. I can't imagine how the players are dealing with all this uncertainty and negativity.
It must be a really tough environment to play in.
It has to be. Football is all about focus and concentration. And when you have all this other stuff going on,
Right.
it's got to be hard to block it out and just focus on the game.
Yeah.
I think it shows how professional these players are,
Right.
that they're still able to compete with all this going on.
It's a testament to them. So what does all this mean for the Browns fans?
Oh, man. I've been through a lot over the years.
Yeah.
This season has to be another tough one.
It does feel like just another chapter in this long and often frustrating story.
It does, but even in the toughest times,
Right.
there's always hope.
There is.
The NFL is a league of constant change.
It is.
Things can turn around quickly.
They can look, the Browns have some really good players.
Yeah.
A decent coaching staff.
Right.
A front office that's shown they're willing to make big moves. Absolutely.
Maybe this is just a bump in the road.
A painful bump.
A painful bump, but a bump nonetheless.
You can't count them out just yet.
No.
We've got 8 games left.
8 games.
Anything can happen. Yeah, but this situation does raise some important questions for the whole league.
It does.
It shows just how much power quarterbacks have in the NFL today.
They have a lot of power.
And how one bad decision can impact an entire organization.
The ripple effect is huge.
It really is.
When you have a great quarterback,
Yeah.
it can hide a lot of other problems on a team.
Absolutely.
But when that quarterback isn't playing well,
Yeah.
or he's injured,
Or he has a giant contract.
or he has a huge contract that limits what you can do with the rest of your roster, it can have a huge impact on the whole organization.
It's a high-stakes game.
It really is.
And the Browns went all in with Watson.
They did.
And right now, it doesn't look good.
No, it doesn't. But they still have options.
They do.
It all depends on what they decide to do.
Right.
And if they can execute their plan,
It'll be interesting to see what happens.
it will. What message do you think this sends to other teams that are thinking about going after a big-name quarterback?
I think it's a warning.
A warning sign.
It shows how important it is to really do your homework.
Due diligence?
Yeah. On the field and off the field.
Absolutely.
You need a plan.
A good plan.
not just for getting the quarterback,
Right.
but for building the team around him
Exactly.
and managing the salary cap.
It's not enough to just throw money at the problem
No.
and hope it goes away.
The Browns situation is a perfect example of that.
It is. It shows that even the best plans can fall apart.
Yeah.
And sometimes the biggest risks lead to the biggest losses.
It's a tough lesson.
It is, but a valuable one.
For any team in the NFL.
For sure.
Yeah, it really is a warning for other teams.
A cautionary tale.
It's easy to get caught up in the hype
Oh, yeah.
of getting a big-name quarterback.
Right.
But the Browns are a reminder that talent isn't everything. It's about fit, too.
On the field and off.
Exactly. And it's a reminder that patience is important.
Patience is key in the NFL.
You can't just build a winner overnight.
No, you can't.
No matter how much money you spend.
Exactly. It takes time.
I wonder if the Browns had a backup plan.
A plan B.
If things didn't work out with Watson.
That's a good question.
It seems like they went all in,
They did.
and now they're paying the price.
It's crucial to have a plan B.
Yeah, especially with a move as risky as this one.
It makes you wonder how this will affect other teams,
In what way?
how they approach contracts with quarterbacks.
Oh, interesting.
Could this mean the end of fully guaranteed contracts?
It's possible the NFL is a copycat league.
It is.
If one team's strategy fails
everyone else takes notice.
and they change their approach,
Exactly.
the Browns could be a wake-up call for the whole league.
They could. We've talked a lot about the Browns' options
Yeah.
and the challenges they face,
Right.
but we can't forget about the people involved.
That's right.
There's so much pressure on these players and coaches.
Absolutely. Their jobs are on the line.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's easy to forget they have lives outside of football.
They have families.
They have families, they have lives.
This has to be tough on them.
It has to be. And for the fans,
Yeah.
it's another emotional roller coaster.
It is.
Browns fans have been through so much.
They really have.
This season has to be a tough one.
Especially tough.
It's another reminder that sports can be cruel.
They can be, but they can also bring people together.
That's true.
They can give us hope.
And inspiration, even when things are tough.
Well said. So we've really dug deep into this Browns quarterback situation
We have. It's a complicated one.
with no easy answers.
no easy answers. It'll be interesting to see how it plays out.
It will, for everyone listening.
Yeah.
We hope this deep dive has helped you understand
The challenges the Browns are facing.
and the decisions they have to make.
This could have a big impact on the entire NFL.
It could. Thanks for joining us for another deep dive
We love breaking down the game with you.
and sharing our thoughts.
It's always a pleasure.
Goodbye, and see you in the next video.